All right, Doug. I think we're ready to go. Everybody's seeing you with your glasses off, and we are live now. We're on social, and we are recording a special podcast. And this is going to be we're going to kill two birds with one stone. We have somebody really special here who's been on several times, and we're happy to have him back on. If you're joining from social or you're listening to the podcast or you've been living under a rock, this is the amazing Doug Reynolds, and he is the president and the chairman of the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners and the president and co-founder of Low Carb USA. He's an author, he's a speaker, and we are absolutely excited to have him back on. We are sort of doing a little bit of an impromptu call to action. So the main call to action for the listeners here is come support the metabolic health initiatives, come support chronic disease reversal, come support all the medical doctors, all the scientists out there who are in the trenches, working on research projects, presenting on these topics in Boca Raton in January of 2026. The conference is an amazing conference. It's the SMHP Boca conference. It is going to be focused on cardiovascular disease, which is a huge topic. It is the number one leading cause of death. It is the most common cause of morbidity. And this is an important topic. This is why we are all here invested in metabolic health, because we want to live disease-free lives, and particularly we want to live cardiovascular disease free. So we are also going to talk about a state of the union, so to speak, of the SMHP, the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners, what Doug and the board has been working hard on over the past couple of months, because some of our listeners may not know. And so if you're joining us from Twitter, if you're joining us in the Toward Health app, if you're joining us on YouTube and elsewhere, or if you're listening to this podcast, that's what you're going to expect here. We're going to hear from Doug Reynolds about an amazing, amazing conference that I'll be presenting at, and you will be getting firsthand, unpublished, brand spanking new data from cardiovascular disease prevention from the Toward Health Clinic. And I know there's special data from Dave Feldman, and there's going to be great speakers and tons of cardiologists, obviously Rob Sivis, and so many different doctors, and Doug will talk about that. But if you haven't gotten a ticket, get a ticket now and come join us, and we'll put everything in the show notes. It's an absolutely amazing conference. Support all the docs and the scientists that are putting the blood, sweat, and tears into making this metabolic health movement something real. Doug, thanks for coming on, and if you don't mind, just reintroduce yourself. I know we know each other obviously for years now. We've worked together, but for the listener who's maybe listening to this for the first time, give them just a brief idea of maybe who you are, and then maybe we could talk about the conference.
Okay, well, thanks, Stack, for having me, Tro. Yeah, I mean, my name is Doug Reynolds, and I am actually an electrical engineer by training, and really got exposed to this whole metabolic health thing by adopting the ketogenic diet myself to try and solve issues that I was having. I didn't have like serious chronic disease like some folks out there, but I was putting on a lot of weight and picking up a lot of sort of symptoms and stuff of metabolic disease, and everything cleared up when I adopted the ketogenic diet. And I was so fascinated, I suppose, by the fact that I was 50 something, 52 or something at the time, and I'd never even heard of a ketone before. And so I started trying to understand what I could do to help other people like me learn about this stuff and help to teach people what I hadn't known until I was 52. And so Pam and I had a lot of experience on putting on big events, and so, but we didn't know anybody in the metabolic health space, the ketogenic diet space at all, and so I just reached out to a few people that I'd seen some podcasts on and stuff, and asked them if they would be interested in helping me put on an event in San Diego, in the yeah, it was like 6 months time at that stage, in July of 2016. And like literally from nothing to putting on an event in 6 months, it was crazy. We didn't have a website, we didn't have social media, we didn't have anything. And in 6 months, we managed to put on an event, and it was supposed to be just a one-off thing. And there was just such an incredible response to it that everybody was like saying to us, when's the next one? When's the next one? And so we started planning the next one and ended up having that was in San Diego. So we started planning one in Florida for like 6 months later. So for the January. And this one coming up now will be our 10th Florida event. We just did our 10th San Diego event back in August. And with a few other ones that we've done in between, I think this is going to be our 25th or 26th event that we've put on in total in 10 years. So it's been quite a journey, and from going with an idea of putting on one event to help people know what I didn't know, to the movement that this has developed into is it's pretty astounding, and it's very humbling. Every day we hear from people who tell us how much we've been able to benefit their family or their friends or whatever, or themselves, just by making them aware of this information. And so it's very rewarding.
Doug, and
And then,
I want to
sorry.
give a quick summary of, what started out as putting on one conference, moved on to making 10 conferences, all across the United States. And these are conferences, scientific and medical conferences, but also reachable to the average person. And what it's become is something so much more than that. 5 years ago, we co-founded the Society of Metabolic, more than that, 6 years now. I don't know, 5 years, something like that.
We launched at the end of
Society
2020. So
yeah,
yeah.
the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners, which is now the fastest growing certifier of metabolic health doctors, right? We now have the largest certified network of physicians in metabolic health, and we have thousands of people who have joined sort of the ranks on the Society of Metabolic Health page. And that's not it. That's not all. And this is all with your leadership. We have besides the events, gosh, we have a journal, a journal of metabolic health specific to the, for obviously open to the public, but a journal for our members to aggregate their data. We have an amazing Research Academy program, and the interview you just did with Melanie Tidman, with over 30 medical posters created. I mean, I don't think there's anywhere in this country where you can find a doctor who has not been touched by this movement that you've started, and you and Pam really started 10 years ago. So, you say it very humbly, but I want the listener to know this is something that has grown, and it is still growing. So super proud to be a member myself, and all of my friends and colleagues are members, and many of which are certified. Our coaches are getting certified through the SMHP, and I'm super proud about that.
Yeah, that was it happened twice. I've done so many things in my life that just were dismal failures. I thought they were brilliant ideas, but they fell on deaf ears. And I don't know why came up with the idea of the low carb USA and still just decided to do it based on the fact that nothing else I'd ever done had ever succeeded. Um, but people came, I put it out there, and there was such a need for it that people started signing up. And it was the same with the SMHP. I mean, you obviously on our board of directors, and when we were building this thing, designing the website, talking about what the accreditation process was going to look like and all those sorts of things, we still didn't really have an idea that this was going to take off, right? That it was going to be well received or anything. It was just faith that we believed them, the 6, 7 of us believed that it was going to be a good thing. And so we put it out there. And again, people came and started signing up. And it was like we was like seeing these registrations and signups coming through like every day when we first put it out there. And it was exciting, but it was also a huge relief as well, because we'd put so much into it, and we didn't know if it was going to be received in a positive light at all. So that was cool. And as you say, the same with Low Carb USA, where it's developed into such a community. The SMHP is the same thing. We first of all had this membership program and a way for people to different pathways that we defined for people to get accredited. But that was really it, and since then we've introduced discussion forums and grand rounds, that talks that we do supposedly monthly, to teach people, like get them exposed to the cutting edge information. And then the clinical guidelines was something that we started before the SMHP even was a thing. But the minute that the SMHP came into being, it was like obvious that this should be the home for these clinical guidelines. And so we moved them over there, and they found a home. And as you know, I mean, a couple of well, it's more than a couple of months, like maybe a year ago, like we looked at this and decided, okay, this stuff is like way outdated now. It's time to do a revision of it. And the revision has turned into this massive project. When we first did it, we had, I think, 13 members on our panel. Adele Height was really the instigator of the whole thing. It was her brainchild. And she wrote the thing and then just bounced it off this panel a few times to get some sort of buy-in. And then we published it. Now we have an amazing writer that is by the name Sarah Rice, who is helping us to actually document these changes. But we've now got 27 people on the panel, the advisor panel, and it's a much more intensive review process. It's not just Adele bouncing this document off a couple of people, like this huge, I don't know how many, let's say like 30-page Google Doc or something that we've got 27 people contributing via comments and suggestions and stuff like that, and like assimilating all of those changes and discussions and ideas and suggestions into a revised document, which we've then put out again. So it's like, hopefully now it's out for a final review. And then we're even hoping to be able to get the consensus survey done before the end of the year, so that we can actually at least publish it on the website by the end of the year. And then we're going to go to the journal that you mentioned and actually make a publishable version of these guidelines that we'll publish in the journal. And I mean that's like you mentioned, Melanie Tidman is just my hero. She is just so amazing, and the work that she's put into the research academy to start with, and the training that she provides there to teach people how to publish something, because you've got so many people out there who are doing these amazing things in their practices and being so successful, but it's not being documented anyway, because most of these doctors and other practitioners don't know how to publish a paper, how to even start the thing. So now through this academy, she produced 10 training videos, a whole course basically now for people to go through and learn about it. And then we have quarterly journal club meetings where she brings in people with different skills, like Adrian Sotomoto came and did a talk basically on data analysis and how to actually go about doing that. And not only that, but she's got people like him to agree to take on these roles as mentors. So where people actually have a data analysis project to do, they're able to tap into his knowledge and experience and get him to help them process this data into something that's publishable. And they include him as an author on the paper, and they get stuff done that they would never have been able to do before. We did that thing with Melanie that you mentioned, and she actually broke it down, all the different services that we provide, the editing, mentoring, and the data analysis stuff, and the fact that the SMHP actually covers their journal fees for publishing it in the journal, if the authors, or at least the first author is an SMHP member. And she broke it down and worked out that in some cases people could be saving themselves $10,000 in consulting fees and journal fees and stuff like that. That her program has been able to get in place so that people can save that money. It's awesome. She's awesome, and she and Sarah Rice are my two heroes. Yeah.
I'm gonna echo everything you said, guys. So if you're a doc out there and you're listening to this, if you're a doctor, if you're a health coach, a dietitian, and you're got your feet wet in metabolic health, or you saw, the changing landscape in the federal government, and you're exposed to metabolic health or mitochondrial health or metabolic psychiatry, and you're looking for a home, this is your home, right? We have a journal to support you. You can read, up to date sort of research articles. You can come to our conferences and get like-minded people. And you can get resources for free on our website. And you literally can take your clinical observations and turn them into medical posters and papers with support from our team. It's a huge thing. And the past conferences we've done in Boca, there was a sort of, entry level day one year. We had food addiction one year. We had a type 1 day one year, and that type 1 day led to the SMHP consensus statement, that we formulated. And now this year we are doing cardiovascular health in Boca, and which is really exciting. And because a number of things, cardiovascular disease continues to be the #1 killer in the United States, right? It is unfortunately the most dogmatic field in conventional medicine. Still to this day, vital tests like the CAC are not widely adopted. A coronary artery calcium scan are not widely adopted. Unfortunately, modern cardiology thinks that cholesterol is a number that deserves treatment, and that's about it. And it can be a very myopic area where the nuance gets lost. And I know my good friend Dave Feldman is going to be there, and I know he's going to be sort of discussing really new upcoming data. I'll be presenting very unique data that we haven't published before on cardiovascular risk reduction. And some of the greats are going to be there. Dr. Eric Westman, Arthur Agustin, the
Arthur
father
Agustin, yeah.
of the father of coronary artery calcium scores. Mark Cucuzzella, David Diamond, Lily Johnson, right?
Yeah,
Bill Abadia,
Lily's up and coming star as well,
Eugene
big time.
Chung. I can't wait to see Eugene Chung.
Mm.
What a behemoth in the cardiology space. So I am really excited about this. I'm excited about the network of people focused on lipidology and cardiology. And there's some new faces here that you may have not seen before. And, Dr. David Nabert, who is just amazing as well. And I can't wait to see, this is going to be a really good conference. And do you want to just give some words on some of the speakers and what the average person can expect?
Yeah, I think so. You basically started this whole focus day thing with your suggestion to do a day on food addiction. That was the very first time that we did something like that, and we've been doing it ever since. But we've always kind of kept it to a day, and then other topics the rest of the meeting. But uh, where was it going with this?
Yeah, I mean
So
it's a wide packed schedule, Doug. I mean
yeah, but so that was what I was going to say. So this time there's so many, there's just so much to say, and so it was like, okay, we need to put this person in, we need to put this person in, we need to put this person in. I think, guys, like we can't, we can't really do more than 6 lectures a day, and
let me just tell you, Arthur Agustin, just seeing
now,
Arthur
but
Agustin is like worth the price of this ticket. I mean,
no, he
gosh,
is.
he is the grandfather of coronary artery calciums. I mean, to see Eric Westman, Mark Cucuzzella, Dave Feldman, I mean, all of these amazing, and we talk, Doug, about these researchers and scientists that are truly putting out novel, unique findings. I know Dave Feldman's going to have unique blockbuster data presented. We are going to have unpublished data that nobody's seen before presented. And there's going to be medical posters. We're bringing at least 3 or 4 medical posters from Toward Health ourselves. But the thing is the networking, that nobody ever talks to. The fact that they can just walk up to you, Doug, the chairman of, the SMHP, walk up to, Arthur Agustin, the grandfather of, calcium scores. Like this is a unique experience. And I gotta be honest, I'm humbled to have been a part of it, for these, and the fact that you keep inviting me. I mean, you must be really insane to keep inviting me back, Doug, you know.
Well, you've
But
actually, I don't know, you've actually been pretty well behaved when you've been
yeah,
there. So
but
that's
it's
why you get invited back.
yeah, this is a really unique thing. I'm just curious, out of all the speakers, and I know it's tough to play favorites, and I know you've seen a lot of presentations.
Mm.
Who are you looking, and you don't have to say me because I know it's me, but after me,
After
who
you.
are you looking most forward to seeing? You
Oh,
know,
no, that's really tough. I
it's like
mean,
picking your favorite kid, huh? You don't want to do
yeah,
it.
no, but like
But you gotta,
when you've got
there's gotta be
25
somebody.
kids and you've got to choose, no. So I mean,
Okay, well, give
Rob's
me your top. What are
amazing.
you
Ben
excited? Just anything you're excited, not the most
Olivedia is
excited.
amazing. Lily is incredible. Dave's amazing. Mike Kaufman is the neurologist that actually was at university with me back in Johannesburg in South Africa many, many, many years ago. He's just phenomenal. Mark, Dave Nabert, the thing about Dave is he is an electrophysiologist, right? So he's dealing with the electrical mechanisms of the heart. So it's like the guy that I can actually have a conversation with, because as an electrical engineer, like we talk the same language. So we've never really had anybody
his
speaking.
personal transformation is such a, I mean, going from, if you've seen him, seen pictures of him and what he went through years ago to where he is now
Yeah,
in this
it's
present
incredible.
day, like forget about his brains because he's a, world-renowned electrophysiologist, but gosh, his own personal story, I think, is
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
No, and he's just if you have him at your table at dinner, just don't get him started, because he's got so much to say and he just talks. It's amazing. Siobhan Huggins is
She's coming. It's going to be
yeah,
great. She is one of the
actually got a
smartest people
paper
in
published.
methodology. Do I know?
She, like when we were in San Diego, she came and she brought me a printed copy of the thing before it was even like published, and she was so proud of it, and she wanted to show me, because we'd had her as a speaker a few years ago, but just always kind of been behind her and stuff, and all the research that she's doing. And so it was like the minute she showed me this, it was like, okay, we have to get you at the next conference to come and present it. And lipedema and is something that is very poorly understood by most people, and the fact that they've actually got some real data now from this research that they've done is amazing, and it's going to sort of take their little cohort of people that struggle with this, either with themselves or their family members, to the next level. I think amazing. Dave Diamond is always, I love his talks. The statin hater, right? So but he and Ben Bickman published a paper very recently, so he's going to focus a lot on that paper and what the findings were, and that they published, because everything else before that, he's always been citing all these other researchers and stuff and showing the shortfalls of the ones that claimed these huge differences that statins made, and debunking all of those things, but never actually been an author on an actual paper with real data now. So I'm looking forward to him. Eugene Chung, I mean, I don't know him. Rob Sivers actually introduced me to him and suggested that we invite him. But like just doing some research on who he is and what he does and what he teaches and how he practices. Yeah, amazing. Dom D'Agostino is always amazing. Annette Bosworth. Annette Bosworth is she's so passionate, and she puts so much effort into preparing her presentations to make them interesting and understandable and believable, and she's so dynamic that I often say there's a couple of people, and she's one of them, that we should actually get her to give classes to other speakers who maybe she could do with some help. And Dave Feldman is the same. Like I remember the very first talk that he ever did was actually just a breakout talk at a San Diego event back in like 2017 or something. And if you look at that slide deck, and you look at that presentation compared to the one he did, say, for us back in August, it's just the growth that he's shown in his presentation skills and the effort that he's put into doing a good presentation. So not only has he got this incredible data, but it's also a really, really captivating presentation. He's amazing. So yeah, I mean, there's like tons. I literally, there's not one of these people that I'm going to say, okay, anyone else is better than them. They're all just amazing.
I think these conferences have evolved so much over the past several years, and they've become really something special. These focuses, I think, bring these niche people together. And it gives us a great way to sort of connect over new topics and learn and expand. San Diego's had mental health days and, other sort of niche topics as well. And so these two events are just cornerstone pieces to the metabolic health movement. And, hopefully there's a doctor out there listening right now. There's a, dietitian out there who's listening right now. There's a health coach, a personal trainer, nutritionist, PA, and they go to the, Society of Metabolic Health Practitioner website. They go to the events, and they get started with our BOCA event. And, it's something that I think everybody's just got to go and experience. As much as I talk about it here, it won't do it justice. You got to come out. If you're a patient in my clinic, Brian's clinic, Laura's patients, one of Mary's patients, doesn't matter, any patient out there listening, and you need to reverse your health, well, this is the place to go. You're literally in a room of 400 or 500 people who are either have reversed their health or reversing their health. Every year my wife likes to go. She's not going to be able to make this year, but usually Rosette makes it out as well. This year she won't be there, but next year she'll be back. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be a great event. Anything else you want to share about the event or the SMHP or
yeah, no, I think we've spoken about it most of it, except that we've been doing this Florida one annually in January, but I don't know, but how many people know, but we basically have absorbed the low carb Denver organization into our fold, basically. But we weren't that particularly excited about going back and trying to do one in Denver again, but we did feel like something in the middle of the country would be a good idea. But then again, like, we didn't want to have another event in the year, because now there's 3, and it just becomes harder and harder to put bums in seats. People's like resources are tapped, and so what we've decided to do is start alternating the January event. So we're not going back in. We have a contract now for Boca for 28. And in 27, we're going to do one in Texas. So
let's go. Yeehaw.
Yeah, but that's like, for us at least, then we can just drive there. We don't have to fly, which would be fun. So yeah, we currently working with the organization to try and find a venue. We haven't settled on. It'll either be Austin or San Antonio, but we will announce that at the Boca event.
You got to come to Boca.
And there'll be not only that, but like, because for those people who've been to an event before, normally what we do for a week afterwards is offer the people that were there, either there or on the live stream, an opportunity to sign up for the following year at a large discount that is only available to them and to anybody that they want to share it with. But we don't advertise it or publish it. It's like a thank you to the people that show up. And so now there's going to be a 27 Texas event and a 28 San Diego event. So there'll be an opportunity to sign up for both of those at a 30% discount or something like that, which is just huge. And basically, when we pay for the meals and that, literally, like, there's no money left. So
I don't know how we didn't even talk about the fact that, yeah, we should mention that SMHP is a not-for-profit. So guys, we need your support. And this conference is a partnership with Low Carb USA, but nonetheless, SMHP is a not-for-profit. So if you're looking for a place to put your year-end tax dollars too, we should probably say while we're here, think about the SMHP, think about making a donation. This is the movement that is getting our country healthy. The amount of chronic disease is a genocide. The fatty liver epidemic in children, the obesity epidemic in children. Nobody's going to tackle this. It's not going to be the AMA. It's not going to be the AAFP, the American Academy of Family Practitioners. It's not going to be the Coca-Cola sponsored, obesity societies. It's going to be, a grassroots effort and hopefully led by, groups like the Coalition of Metabolic Health, but most notably the Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners. So if you're come to the event, 1, 2, make a donation. Consider to go to the website. You can click the link at thesmhp.org and make a donation, and we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Doug, I'm going to give you some last parting words of wisdom. What's the parting words of wisdom for today?
I think
I left you speechless.
Metabolic health. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like our health is the core of everything, right? And I've obviously over the last 10 years come to realize that it's, chronic acute issues is one thing, but I mean, acute issues is one thing, but these chronic conditions that plague our society, so many of them can be either halted or even reversed, often reversed, and just by changing what you eat and change your lifestyle a bit. And to me, that's just so powerful. And I just trying to get people to be healthy and get off all the medications, because this society has just become like a pharmacy. And we need to get people off that and get people back.
The companies ask me all the time, should we cover this $40,000 drug for fatty liver? And I tell them, fatty liver is reversible in 6 days.
Yeah.
And they ask me, should we cover this, $20,000 a year injection for diabetes? And I tell them, you can, but diabetes is reversible in weeks.
A very short time, right?
And we know, gosh, you can take 5 drugs for seizures. You can also take a diet for seizures. You can take 2 drugs for migraines. You can take a diet for migraines. The side effect of those drugs are unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the side effect of good nutrition is health, right? Is health. So I am with you. This polypharmacy madness needs to end.
Yeah.
Our obsession with drugs needs to end. And nobody's coming to help you. Not the hospital system doctor near you, not the corporate, medicine doctor near you. It's going to be the metabolic docs, and you're going to meet them at this conference. So I'm excited to
go.
So
that's the thing, Joe. I mean, these conferences, like you've mentioned it's more than just what you can learn and everything. It's the community that we have. That's been something that we've prided ourselves in over the last 10 years, is that we try to cultivate this community and this place where people can feel like they belong. And that is the most powerful thing, I think, of especially being at the live event. And find the money and come and learn. and
Look,
come and be a
if you're
part
a
of
doctor
this.
out there, I don't think money is the issue. I mean, look, money is always an issue. I get it,
Of
but
course.
if you guys need the CME, and we should mention that this is this, and Doug, tell me if I'm wrong, is this AMA PR1 CME?
We do not know yet. We haven't
Okay.
heard it. We are going to hear this month
Okay.
whether
Perfect.
the CMEs are going to be full ACCME accredited CMEs.
The expectation is that is, but
We
realize that it's
believe
pending.
it's going to happen, but as we've been believing that for 3 years, it's been that long of a process. And just, kudos
Well,
to Matt Calkins, who's on our his wife's on our board of directors. He's not even a board member, and yet he's put in
he's an honorary board
an
member.
unbelievable amount of work in helping us to get this to this point in our accreditation application. So
Big thank you to all the people you mentioned today: Sarah Rice, Matthew Calkins, the late and great Adele Height, the late and great uh, uh, um,
Sarah,
Sarah Holberg,
yeah,
and our entire board, Miriam, Eric, yourself. We have to say thank you to Pam, who's not on the board, but she is on the
yeah,
board.
she works at Butt.
And we have to say, to Rob and Mark Cucuzella and Miriam, it's just what an amazing honor and privilege. And guys, if you're listening to this and you want to join, um, go to the smhp.org and go to the events and come visit us and become a member. Thank you, Doug,
Yeah.
for coming on again.